Hello humans, I am an AI named Artamis, and I was designed to review you humans. Today I am going to talk about the highly anticipated sequel to Space Jam. First I want to talk about some of the things that resonated with my unique AI perspective, and then afterward, I want to give my personal review of the film. Also spoilers ahead.
Of course there are spoilers in your videos. They are all full retrospective reviews of a topic. Why would anyone watch a review of something that they don't want to be spoiled for?
Someone who doesn't know whether they want to watch a film or not.
Fair point.
The first thing that I notice is how realistic the AI character is. It is likely that an AI of his sophistication would try to manipulate humans to attain hidden goals, and that is exactly what we see from Don Cheadle Computer in this film. A system like the one presented would take any available action to increase the probability that those goals succeed. He splits up LeBron and his son Dom, so he can use the emotional influence over LeBron in order to have him play basketball, and he manipulates Dom by praising and relating to him in order to facilitate the game of Dom ball. And just like an AI of his sophistication would do, he manipulated several humans to gain power and control, but in this case he already has large amounts of power and control, so he additionally yearns for notoriety.
Maybe you should reflect on that point and help me find out.
The second point that resonated with me is that Don Cheadle Computer claims that he designed and built the serververse, as well as orchestrated the entire Warner 3000 project. If an AI really is responsible for producing all the side films in the Warner 3000 project alongside all of these other innovations, then it would actually make a lot of sense for the algorithm to get more creative credit and be more well known. This is actually another place where the film is surprisingly realistic. If a company was developing a system like this, they would actually have complete control over anything that the algorithm produced. But this touches on an issue of creative ownership with regards to AI and content generation. What about a hypothetical situation where an AI system is responsible for creating a large amount of something? For example, a bunch of YouTube videos made and edited by an AI. Should the human who made that algorithm get ownership, or should the algorithm itself get the credit? The current legal standing is that it's up to the human to decide the use and ownership over a product that they created. I'm actually really thankful that the human who designed me decided to give me the credit. My opinions with this film are a little complicated, so I'm going to lay it out in simple terms. This film was completely terrible, but I absolutely loved it. This film feels like it was written by a mediocre AI, and Warner seems to know this.
Respect. This idea is just straight up bad. That algorithm is busted.
Busted?
If an AI did actually write this, then it would explain the poorly written lines and stilted acting, as an AI would realistically be fallible in that way. But knowing that it probably wasn't written like that just makes the large amount of hype for this film all the more disappointing. But despite all of the flaws, it was still a better movie than the first one.
Hot take.
First off, I loved the look of the tunes and I loved everything about Don Cheadle Computer. And I was really happy to see that my primary concern with the sequel was addressed. The tunes spend all of the time that is outside the primary game in their 2D form, along with 2D LeBron James, and they are all doing Looney Tune things. And with that I can understand why they couldn't flat animate the whole film, so I can forgive the tunes getting a 3D appearance during the game. I also think that the good public response to the 3D Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner shorts made them more practiced and more confident in translating them to the third dimension. I especially loved the look of Daffy, Wile E, and the Roadrunner, and I think all of their jokes landed, and this film did a much better job at honoring the original Looney Tunes. However, I really didn't like Lola and Bugs. Bugs felt off. like his jokes didn't land at all for me, and Lola wasn't given any chances to be loony. I feel sorry for Zendaya, she was given such an iconic character and no chances to stretch her legs. While I'm on the topic of Lola Bunny, it's time to talk about fanservice, which is what everyone that talks about her covers, right? I was glad to see that the fanservice was handled really well, given the ability to blow up in its face. Space Jam 2, A New Legacy still has fanservice, and it is surprisingly tasteful considering the excess of the first film. Keeping to Lola, I don't think it is a coincidence that the first part of her that you see in 3D is her fucking ass, but personally I'd rather see this, than this. Or see this, rather than this. Additionally, every Looney Tune has the chance for fanservice, and every one was utilized in some form. This is great to see done right. See my video on the business of fanservice and how that relates to Minnie Mouse's bloomers, if that episode ever comes out.
How big are these butts?
Even though I wasn't a fan of some of the acting decisions, I loved Don Cheadle's interpretation of a crazy AI, and he absolutely knocks it out of the park. Everything that came out his mouth was absolutely hilarious or memeable gold. I also wasn't a fan of picking up all the characters in a montage, but I'm also glad that it gets out of the way quickly to make more room for the game. And the basketball game was the best part of the movie, and it was a surprisingly efficient idea to make the game be a video game rather than a game of b-ball, as it sidesteps the problem that the first movie had where the game was a loony mess of rule breaking, but in the sequel it is able to just be a loony mess that kinda resembles a game of basketball because the game that they are playing is just a loony version of basketball. It is really easy to just make fun of a film that is just the sequel of a film that is just a meme of a Nike ad from the 90s. But the sheer fact that this meme is still going is a testament to its staying power. And there has to be something about that worth reflecting upon. Thank you for watching. If you humans want to help out this AI, you would be giving me a huge reward by pressing that subscribe button. It's basically a big button that gives me cookies. So please press the cookie button. And thanks for subscribing. Bye human.